Okay. Let's just take a moment and show up in the room. Use your breath to anchor yourself in this moment. And let's just slow ourselves way down. So that you can really be present for the pace of this exact instant in time. This is about releasing the part of yourself that is trying to rush forward. It's so important that we show up for life exactly as it is. That we have the exact experience that has been placed in front of us, and that we have it fully. Nothing held in reserve. Whatever. Hang on, I need to mute us. There's an echo. Whatever you're not willing to look at in the moment becomes a part of you. This moment that you're living, the good and the bad. The good, you just experience it and it keeps moving. But if the bad is unacceptable, if the bad is not something that you are willing to show up and deal with, that bad becomes a part of you. An undealt with vibration, an untransmuted vibration. And it goes in deep. It goes in deep, and it goes in a very unconscious way. It can even build up, and then it comes forth and plays itself out on the screen of your life, usually when you're least expecting it. That thing that you weren't allowing free expression to will then have to express itself through you and through your life. You know, there are so many spiritual teachings out there that make it look like the spiritual path is somehow about just blind positivity or just seeking the good. And it's attractive because it's very simple. But it's not how it works. I mean, look at, if we want to go extreme, look at possession stories. Stories of demonic possession. They don't happen to non-religious people. They happen usually to people who come from a religion that is very much centered on the separation of good and evil, the negation of evil and the acceptance of good. And an expectation that you suppress certain parts of your nature, that whole family lineages suppress them. And it just goes in deeper and takes root and poisons everything. And it poisons not because of its darkness, but because of its divorce from the light. Take that in. It poisons not because of its darkness, but because the dark got divorced from the light. And so it exists in a way that is out of balance and can't reach for that balancing factor. The way you find hell is by absolute and utter avoidance of it. Most of you have lived long enough to see that for yourself. The things that we put off cause us the most suffering. Even before they manifest physically, they cause us suffering. More suffering than it would take if we just did what we didn't feel like doing. That rare feeling of actually being caught up on all the things that you're meant to do, where you can ride the top of the wave. That's living in the meditative state. where what's on your plate is yours to deal with and you deal with it. Now, depending on what kind of life you're living, your plate might get overfull. And it will take you off that wave. Happens to me too. But keeping that flow through of the present moment clean is vital. Managing what is yours to manage is vital. And that can't happen when the light is divorced from the dark. When you can't face the things that scare you. And so you look away and they take root and become a part of you. Now, for most people, so much of that has occurred. Not always from religion, sometimes just these people that are so hyped, you know, they just want everything to be happy, happy, happy. You know, most people have a buildup of that. And the problem is it's gone unconscious. If it went unconscious in this life, it's not too hard to root it out. If you die without it cleaned up in your next life, it's much, much harder. It becomes like core issues of who you are. You almost need an intervention, a spiritual teacher really, to help wake you up to it. Unless you're very observant, then you'll just notice friends leaving you over certain issues and things like that, and you might figure it out that way. I had both. Pissed off a lot of people, and I had a teacher. To start cleaning it up, you need meditation. What meditation does is it opens you up and starts the flow. And that flow starts bringing the stuck spots to the surface. Most people will never clean it up. But you can be different. The reason most people will never clean it up is because when that flow starts bringing those stuck spots up to the surface, they don't manifest as, hi, I'm something stuck from your past, better clean me out. That's not how they manifest. They manifest as anger. They manifest as, if I have to sit here and listen to his voice for one more second, I'm just going to go insane. They manage as incessant needs for a distraction. Or sometimes they've managed physically, and it makes truly stopping and being still almost look irresponsible, because there's just so much you think you need to be dealing with and managing. But as long as those feelings are in the space, you haven't been still long enough. You throw yourself open, just like I've taught you, just like you've done a million times. And you stay open in that discomfort, in that anger, in that sorrow. You stay open and you stay willing to experience that darkness, that pain. You're too frustrated and keyed up? Okay, here I am, sitting in meditation, filled with this red frustration. I can feel it in my solar plexus. I can feel it in my bones. And in that way, you bridge it from the unconscious into the conscious so that it can come back together with the light and find its balance. There has to be a place for it. There can't be anything that you just push away and hide from. Over the years, people have thought of me as a brutally honest person. You know, I'm someone who doesn't play along very well. If something's legitimately wrong, my face probably shows it most of the time. And it's like, why can't he just pretend like everyone else? I know the cost of just pretending. And I'm not here to make everybody comfortable. I'm here to wake up and stay awake. And if someone's willing, I'm here to help them wake up too. In Kabbalistic orders, the adage is know thyself. And that's what that means. It all has to be allowed to come to the surface. And the question might arise, what if it's more than I can deal with? Then you find out how you can deal with it. You can get a therapist to help you, or you can break it into smaller pieces. You know, in EFT tapping, we have this technique where you've got something that's really causing somebody a lot of pain, but they're not ready to tap on it. They're not ready to deal with it that directly. And the technique that works really well is, okay, what if we first put it in a box? So we put it in a box and we're going to tap on what's in that box. You know, if we do that, where's your pain level? Where's your fear level? You know, and if it's still very high, I've had a client once where we had to put it on a box on the moon. And it was there far enough away that it was still raising stress to like about a 5, but it was no longer at like a 9 or a 10. And you could, you know, you could tap that down, and then it's like, okay, what if we bring that from the moon to the earth, but it's still in the box and it's still got 6 locks on it? You know, the stress goes up because it's closer, but it's still safe enough. And so you tap on it, and you just do that until you're low enough that you can open the box. That may sound stupid to some people, but it works for others. The point is, figure it out. The point is, get as close as you can and start working from there. And slowly, as you're able, integrate it back into your consciousness. But there is no faster road that I'm aware of than stepping into the silence with your body, heart, and mind, throwing yourself wide open, and just breathing from that place. As the pond of your consciousness gets stirred, the mud will come to the surface and present itself. You might not even have to go into the story of it to clear it. Sometimes just no longer fighting the feeling is enough to create a radical change. That change will be sometimes, for some things and some people, slow and modular over time. For others, there'll be a massive dropping of dead weight that changes literally everything. Often a realization of some kind of cognitive reframe. A realization that's more than just intellectual. It's connected to the whole network of shit that you're trying to move out, that you're trying to bring to the surface. I remember the first big one for me was a realization, and for me they always came almost as a what if. And this one was, what if none of them, what if I don't have to see myself the way I think other people see me, was the realization. You know, I'd had a childhood of children who saw me in a certain way. You know, I was a little gay kid in a straight world, and you know, horrible abuse at the hands of children. And you don't realize that, you know, you try, and your sense of self comes from how other people tell you that they're seeing you. And I remember just in one moment that all came to the surface, and it was, well, what if there's no validity to their view of me? What if how I feel about myself doesn't have to match how they felt about me? Intellectually, it sounds very simple and small, but when it comes up in meditation like that, it's got strings attached to all of the energy structures that have been holding you down on that topic. And in a moment, it just releases, and you're in a different place. And for the most part, you never go back. Real meditation, where you throw yourself open and you stay there as long as it takes. That's the fastest road. And probably the safest, emotionally. Are there any questions about any of that? So let's step into the silence. But as we step into the silence, let's make ourselves available. What are we available to? We are available to the arisings of the dark, stuck spots within ourselves. We are available as a bridge to bring them back into consciousness so that they can be balanced out by the context of the giant picture of our life. Many of them, you've already evolved your understanding of life beyond that stuck point, but you never bridged it back. So there's just tons of unclaimed power waiting for you in an intention like this. So I make myself available as a bridge that the stuck darkness may return to the light. Not to be abolished, but to sit in its proper context. Let's do it now. Attention at the forehead and crown. Eyes on some spot on the floor or the wall in front of you or the desk in front of you. And just begin to breathe. Use the breath to still the mind. Let go and really give yourself to it. And from here, just let yourself open up. Relax your hips. Relax your gut. relax your ribs. Relax your breath. And just let life flow through you. And just give yourself to that reach into openness. In this space, if you can stay here, power will start to build in your body. It'll start to flow through all the stuck areas. And you don't have to make anything happen. But just through your willingness, be available. Available to bridge the dark, stuck spots with the light for whichever one is ready to let go. It may take a few days for it to even happen. Your job isn't to make it happen. Your job is to be available and ready, that the light is welcome to touch any of the darkness. it's only going to feel like a problem if you close down in response to it, because you'll be closing down around it. Stay open. Be a gracious host. No need to grasp around any one thing. There's room for all of it. Give it room. That thing you're afraid of, let it breathe. Give it room. It can't harm you in context. It harms you when it's controlling your actions from under the surface because you've gone unconscious to it. Let it breathe. Give it space. That thing you're afraid will happen. Give it space. It looks like for a couple of you it's already arisen. So let it be there without losing your vision of the whole. Stay completely open. There's nothing you have to do to fix this. find its place. What if you let go a little deeper? Release the front of your spine, down in the gut, up in the chest, up in the neck, let the mind be like an open gate. Everything can just flow through. Not in to be stored, just through. Nothing to defend. Nothing to fight. this week, I want you to practice in this way. Sit and meditate like you've been taught. But with that intention of willingness to bridge the dark unconscious stuck spots back into the big picture of life, back into consciousness and back into context. The more time you spend in the meditative state, it's just like drops of personal power filling you up more and more. The more time you spend there, the more it fills. The deeper you spend there, the more it fills. And this shift in practice is a small shift. But if you do it every day, you're going to start to notice that things will become unearthed from the depths of you. And placed on the screen of the mind and in your feeling body for you to deal with. And you deal with it not by getting rid of it, not by transmuting it, but by literally letting it breathe. Let it find its place back in the context of your life. And the next time it manifests on your plate as an actual life experience, don't pretend it isn't there. Deal with it directly. Face it. It shows up and it makes you afraid to do something. That's your cue. Do that thing you're afraid of doing. Do it well, do it poorly, but do it. Do it smoothly or fumble through it, but do it. Don't shun it back into unconsciousness again. Any questions about that before we end for the night? Okay, everybody. I will be here next Thursday. I hope you all have a great week. Bye.
Thanks, Liam.
Thank you.